I am so glad to be here talking about grace, which is just my favorite concept. I feel in the past 5 years like I've been really living in grace because I've lost things one after the other. I had to leave a job that I was passionate about and loved with all of my heart because what was going on there didn't feel right to me, and my conscience said, you can't stay. I lost my best friend and musical partner of 20 years, feeling like a lot of the harmony went out of my life when he was gone, very suddenly, from a brain aneurysm. I lost my father to disease, and my mother was diagnosed with dementia, so I had to sell their home and move my mother to a different place. So couldn't go home anymore. And my husband was saying, it's okay if you don't have a job, I make enough money, you can concentrate on your music. And then his business partner of 12 years came into the company that my husband started and said, I don't want to work with you anymore, I want you out of here. So all of the things that we hold on to, this is my safety, this is my security, this is where it's coming from. My job as a music minister. My husband's job is, what he does. My mom, we can always go home to mommy and daddy. Well, at some point we can't. And what I learned from that is, if I hold on to the things that change, I will never be happy. But if I learn to hold on to grace, which comes all the time and doesn't change, then my life can be grace-filled. And that's what I want to talk about this morning. I know we believe in unity, and I've been a music minister at a Unity Church for 27 years. I'm now about to be ordained as an interfaith minister in June, so I'm very, very excited about that. Thank you. But I noticed something in Unity, that after I'd been there about 20 years or so, these ideas of prosperity and attracting good into our lives and bringing good out to the world and living our truth and speaking our truth and knowing ourselves and knowing our truth and knowing God are beautiful concepts. But I noticed that after 20 years, some of the people that I'd been in church with all of those years were still living lives that didn't look or feel very prosperous, that didn't look or feel very grace-filled. And here's what I know. God is a good giver. So if I'm not receiving, perhaps the problem's with me. Okay? So what I want to talk about this morning is, yes, making a space and welcoming grace into our lives and getting rid of the roadblocks that we put in the way of our good. And I think one of the first roadblocks that we do put in the way is that we have a sort of a weird, twisted idea about giving and receiving. I know I grew up in a fundamentalist church. I was taught that grace was unmerited favors, and that meant that's what God does for you even though you don't deserve it. I've come to know that grace is what God gives us without our even having to ask, for free and for fun. Gifts from the universe that just show up. This is what grace means to me. But somehow, in my growing up, maybe yours was different, I got this idea that to give is good. Oh, she's so giving. She's so giving. You don't ever hear anybody say, he's a great person, he's so taking. Right? And so we have this idea about giving, and that giving is good and receiving is not so good. Well, the deal is this, and I use this language, just so bear with me here. I think there are givers and there are pushers. And there are receivers and there are takers. Now, I think we all play all of those roles at some time, but we usually lean toward one or the other. And if I am so afraid of being a taker that I do not allow myself to receive, then I do not give the people around me the gift of being a giver. Think about that. If you love to give and you know how good it feels to give, why would you want to take that beautiful privilege away from the people you love? By not being willing to receive from them. So we get, if you're a giver, here's what I think. If you are giving, you never run out. You're replenished by your giving. You give with graciousness for free and for fun without strings attached, expecting nothing in return. You're not depleted by your giving. I know people who are pushers. My grandmother, very giving woman, but also a pusher. She wanted you to have something whether you wanted it or not. You know, walk into her house, can I fix you something to eat? Well, actually, we just got back from a restaurant. I'll make you a hamburger. We've got some fried chicken in the refrigerator. I'll make you a pie. She wanted to give. And she got to be a little pushy about it. And some people do. I have a neighbor right now that's always bringing me stuff. And it's kind of awkward because it's like, I like you. You don't have to do this. I like you. We're friends. You don't have to keep bringing me stuff. But I receive it because that's what I've learned to do. So a receiver is someone who is grateful for what they receive. A receiver is someone who takes it in and breathes it. And a receiver is someone who also can take no for an answer. Because a receiver knows that there's more good coming in the next moment. You don't have to hold on to the good of this moment because there's more good always coming. And a taker is somebody who's not ever satisfied. It's that hungry ghost within us, that nothing is ever enough. And so if you are ungrateful and unsatisfied and you're never happy with what you're given, maybe you need to worry about being a taker. But if that's not true of you, you might need to let go and let up on yourself a little bit and allow yourself to be a receiver. Because what is required in the universe, what the universe seeks, I believe, is balance. And if all you do is give, who's the universe going to partner you with? Somebody who can take. If you want balance, maybe you need to change what you're doing, and that will change the things around you. So I'm giving you some practices, because if you just feel good while we're here and then you go home and you don't think about it anymore, it's not, I don't feel it's really helpful. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start with these words in your mind: give, push, take, receive. I want you to just keep them in your mind and see how it feels. When you're doing something for someone, see how it feels. Does it feel like giving, or does it feel like making a bargain that you didn't get the other person to sign on? Right? I'm going to do this for you, but then you're going to owe me. When someone offers you something, do you feel embarrassed or guilty? Or do you say, thank you, I appreciate your givingness? Or are you trying to take something from someone that they don't want to give? Just pay attention to that and see what happens. That's your first practice. Just pay attention. And something I've noticed, okay, you don't know my husband. I'll sing a couple of songs about him tonight at the concert if you want to come back and learn more about Bob. Bob can stand naked in an empty room, and in 5 minutes there will be junk all around him. I don't know how that happens. He just creates a mess from nothing. And I am a person who, let's say, likes order. And Bob and I have been married for 25 years. So sometimes I'll just take a day, and it's a day for me, and I'm going to clean house, because I actually kind of like to clean house, right? And I get started, and I get in about, and I'm like, you know, if he hadn't left this mess, I wouldn't have to be taking this time to clean it up. I made a decision a couple of years ago that changed my life and our relationship. Because what would happen is he would walk in the door, and I'd be on him like a duck on a June bug. Look what you did, look what you did. And I made a decision that I'm the one who likes things clean. That's why I'm cleaning, not cleaning for him. And if I can't do it with love, I need to stop. And sometimes that means I go, I'm not cleaning today because I'm not in the place for it. And sometimes that means I need to stop and make a cup of tea and sit down and regroup. And then sometimes I feel like continuing, and sometimes I don't. And that's okay, because if I'm going to do something, I want to do it with love. Why would you want to do something without love? And we do that in life. We do things without love. And that's pushing. That's not giving. We're making bargains. So, roadblock number 2 is, I think a lot of us don't feel we deserve it. I think possibly the whole crux of the spiritual path is for us to learn our worthiness. I'm not going to tell you in this time how to do that because that's a whole other sermon. But you already know if you've been coming to a Unity church. You meditate. You learn to know yourself. You use your affirmations. You use your denials. You stand up in the way that Angie's song did. That's who I am. I am the life. I am the love. I am the faith that never gives up. An ocean in a tiny drop. That's from a poem from Rumi. That's who I am. And if you declare yourself to that every day, and every time you start feeling bad, I promise you, you're going to have a better relationship with you in a fairly short period of time. So use that. And here's another thing. Even in my relationship with God, I used to have this idea that I haven't meditated enough. I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to do, so I really can't come to God now, right? And it sounds stupid when you say it out loud. And yet, that's kind of the thing that would go on in my head sometimes. And what I want to do is read to you this quote from Corinthians, chapter 12, 8 and 9. Paul says about this thing, he doesn't name what it is. He said it's the thorn in his side, this character flaw of some sort that he could not get rid of. He says, 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this, that it should leave me. But God said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in your weakness. There is nothing that God can't use to bring good. There is nothing about you that God cannot make good from. And it's a paradox, yeah, we want to get better. But the truth is, God can use us exactly as we are, in service to this planet, in service of God's children, in service to the world. Nothing needs to be added or taken away. I'm using this, God says. I'm using you. Relax. I'm using it. And then Paul goes on to say, therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Beautiful, huh? I think I used to have what I call subsistence consciousness. I believed that I deserved to have enough. And I always did. From the time that I started tithing, I always had enough. And I was a single mother with a part-time job. I was a teacher at school, but I was a contract teacher, I didn't have benefits. I wasn't a regular part of the school district. I was a voice teacher. And I started tithing very reluctantly because someone challenged me to, and I thought, well, when I don't have enough money to pay my bills at the end of the month, I'm gonna come to you, get the money from you. Really, I did it with a bad attitude. And things started to happen from that very first month. I got a check from my ex-husband. Now that's a miracle from God. That had never happened before, and it never happened after that. I have no other explanation for that singular miracle. And what I would find is that my car would break down and it needed a $200 repair, and I'd think, oh, how am I gonna do this? And then someone would call me the next day and said, I need you to sing for my wedding. Is $200 enough? And it was enough, and I always got enough, but I noticed at some point that I never got more because I didn't know that it was okay for me to have more than enough. That it was okay for me to have riches, for me to have joy, for me to have, I knew that I deserved to not be in pain, but I didn't know that I deserved to have joy and fun and laughter and riches and beautiful relationships. And today, I believe it. I believe it today, and it is coming true in my life today. So, love yourself enough to know that you deserve good things. That's your second practice. And number 3, here's the thing. I think sometimes we can't receive because we've forgotten how. We're just out of practice. They say practice makes progress. Thank you. Right? So raise your hand if you have a gift certificate in your wallet or purse that you were given for Christmas and that you have not used yet. Okay? We have to learn to use what we have. We have to learn to use what we've already been given. I used to be this person that if someone gave me really, really good coffee, I would hoard it. I would put it in the freezer, and I would think, on a really special day, I'm going to drink some of that coffee. Meanwhile, Folgers every day. And I had the experience of taking it out of the freezer, and it smelled horrible. It had picked up the smells of the chili that was in my freezer, right? And then it was undrinkable. I have had people give me the beautiful, lovely, creamy lotion that smells so good. And I would say, well, that's too good to use. I'm going to put that in the linen closet and save it for a special day. And I'll use the Jergens. And then, lo and behold, a special day, sometime 7 years down the road, comes, and I open the linen closet, and this lotion doesn't look right anymore. It has separated. It looks like water with grease on top. And I have to throw it away. Truly, gifts you receive are manna from heaven, and if you don't use them, you are telling the universe you don't need anything. That's the message that you're sending. If you have gifts in your life that you're not using, you are telling the universe, I don't need anything else. I'm perfectly fine. Is that the gift? Is that the message that you want to send the universe? And the other thing that we do is we turn down help. We do it all the time. Can I help you? No, I got it. I can get this refrigerator by myself. It's okay. So I'm going to give you a practice for the next 30 days. Well, first of all, today, go out and use your gift certificate. After church, I want you to go shopping. And then I want you to accept all offers of help for 30 days. Even if you think you could do it better yourself. Even if you think you really don't need it. You are offering yourself the gift of rest, and you are offering the other person the gift of being a giver. And then here's the other thing. Here's another gift that you might not receive well. Accept all compliments gracefully and cheerfully. Do not try to argue people out of complimenting you. Right? Yeah, you look so nice today. Oh, are you kidding? I haven't slept in weeks. I don't know. My eyes are puffy and I've gained 5 pounds, you know? You know who you are. Cheerfully receive all compliments. The only answer to a gift being given, and a compliment is a gift, is to say, thank you. And take a moment and breathe it in. Don't deflect it. Oh, thank you. Go, thank you. Let it in. That's going to help you with practice number 2 about feeling you deserve it. You'll get into practice with feeling you deserve things. Take it in. Use your gifts. Force yourself to receive compliments and say and accept offers of help. And then the other thing that I think that is a roadblock to our receiving is our attachment. Now, I just said you have to use the gifts you have, but then I said, let's not get attached. We get attached not only to stuff. Okay, I ordered a new dining room table at Thanksgiving because I wanted, a big enough one for all my family so I didn't have to set up card tables in the living room, right? And I got an email the day before the table was to be delivered, and it said, we are coming tomorrow at 10 o'clock, you must remove your old dining room table and all of the chairs and make a clear path from the front door to your dining room. If you do not do this, we will not deliver your table, and we will charge you for the delivery anyway. That's a lesson, folks. That's metaphysics right there. What are you saying that you want that's new that you haven't made room for because you're hanging on to the old one? Right? Go home today. You want new clothes? Go home today. Go through your closet. Give the ones you're not wearing to Goodwill. Let someone else have the gift of using them, and then let yourself have the gift. Watch and see what happens. Watch and see what happens. You'll stumble into a sale, or somebody you love will offer you something. I'm hoping that Martha will offer me that beautiful tie-dyed thing that she has on today. Do that. Clear space. If you're in a relationship and you feel like you are the one that's giving, and all the other person does is take, and you want a relationship that's in balance, sometimes that means you have to change your behavior, but sometimes that means you have to clear that out. If you know this is the relationship that you don't want, and yet you stay in it, you're telling the universe, don't send me anybody. I don't want to meet. I don't really want to do any better than this. Sometimes you have to make a void. You have to open up a space. And some spaces are fairly easy to open up, and some spaces are very painful to open up in our lives. If I had not left my music director position that I loved with all my heart, I would not be doing what I'm doing today. I would not be here speaking to you. I would not be in ministerial school about to graduate with my ordination. I would not be sharing my music across the country instead of in one town. It was a very, very painful clearing. And yet, the universe got the message. There's a void here. It needs to be filled. We also get attached to our story. My story was often, I can do it better myself. No one will do it like I do it. We tell our stories, I'm a self-made man. So if you're attached to your story, you need to think about what your story is. The story might be, I've been happily married for 25 years. Well, have you checked in with yourself lately? Is that really true? I am not advocating for divorce, by the way. I've been happily married for 25 years. I can't say it's been happy all 25 years, but it has been worth it. We have worked really hard, and we have an amazing relationship today that I never dreamed that I would have. But I had to clear some spaces in order for that to happen. And I had to change some behaviors in order for the universe to come and fill the void. So think about that. Think about what you're holding on to, and think about the dreams that you are holding on to that maybe don't fit you anymore. You know, maybe you're like, oh, I gave up my dream. I was going to be this, and now I'm not going to anymore. Well, look at it. If it's really something that you still feel vitally connected to, then don't give up that dream. But it may be that your dream has changed because you have changed. You don't have to resign that, oh, I let my former self down. No. It may be that I've grown and my dream has grown. I thought I'd be on Broadway. When I was 18, that was what I was going to do. I was going to be on Broadway. Well, I'm not saying that I would mind being on Broadway today, but my life went a different direction. I had a child in my 20s who I felt it very important to be with her on a daily basis, and so I changed my lifestyle. I wasn't able to travel the country touring in the way that I had before. So we make choices and our dreams change, and that's okay. And also we get attached to what we think what we want is going to look like. Think about, have you ever been so focused on your trip to Galveston that you missed the plane to Hawaii? You know, I want this, it looks like this, I'm treasure mapping, I want this, I am gonna catch this bus no matter what. Meanwhile, the limousine pulls up and you don't even see it. And it drives on and picks up somebody else. We get attached to what things look like. Be open to the gifts of the universe and be open to what they show up as, because sometimes they don't show up as what we think they're gonna show up as. My gift of becoming a minister and fulfilling what I know deep in my soul is my calling, is mine to do, would not have come true if I had said, no, I have to be a music minister. I have to find another church to be a music minister at. That's what I do. This is what I'm good at. This is my thing. You know, it's going to be different for every one of us. My point is, pay attention. Don't just assume that what was true, the story you told a year ago or 10 years ago or 30 years ago, is still true of you. You've changed, you've grown. What's your story today? Check in with yourself. Be flexible with your goals. And then here's the other thing. I hate this. You're going to hate it. Accept what is. Come to terms with what's already true in your life. Stop deflecting it. And then you may want to change it from there, but we have a tendency to jump from, and we finally have an awareness, I gotta do something about it. I had a feeling, I gotta stop feeling that. We want to fix it. Sometimes it's better to go, oh, wow, I didn't even know that about myself. What does that mean? What does that feel like? What is my inner guidance telling me to do? Not what I saw in Dr. Phil yesterday necessarily, but what is my inner, and that takes time. Getting into real acceptance takes time, and we are constantly putting judgments on things. This is good, this is bad. I don't want that to come in the front door, but that's okay. And some of the best things that have happened to me are things that did not look good. I would have said, oh, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. Please don't let this happen. And they ended up being for my good. So I have learned to trust God's plan for me more than my plan for me. The living God is living in and through me. Yes, I believe that. But I also believe that I have this human mind that thinks it knows things without connecting to divine mind. And divine mind has much bigger imagination for me than I have for myself. So here are the things that I'm going to ask you to do. Force yourself to graciously receive all compliments. Use your gifts, treasures, and talents. Accept gifts. If you have another gift, not a physical gift, but a talent or a skill that you are not using, same goes. The coffee spoils, the gift can go away. Use it. Accept offers of help. Know your worth. Whatever it takes, come to know your worth. Don't fall in love with what your goals should look like. Be open to them showing up in a completely different package. Accept life as it is. Appreciate and enjoy what you already have. And here is the most important one. Practice gratitude. After my husband's business partner tried to kick him out of the business, that happened in December, and we settled and sold our portion of business in August. And that was 8.5 months of, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And the way that we survived that, and it all happened at once. My dad died, my friend died, it was all just right there. And so what I did is I got up extra early every morning and I made a gratitude list every single day. And then I did some reading that would inspire me. And then I wrote about the reading that inspired me, and then I made notes for my husband and I stuck them in his car. And I stuck them on the window in the bathroom, because usually he's Mr. Sunshine and I'm Mrs. Rain, but when he's raining, nothing's good, I can tell you. I had to step forward and be the sunshine for a while, and it gave me a lot of confidence. I could do that. I didn't even know I could do that. I thought he had to be the sunshine. Who knew? And our relationship has grown because of that. Gratitude, realizing what it is that you already have. If you start listing what you have and you really get into it, you could still be talking tomorrow and not be half done with listing the things that you have to be grateful for. That doesn't mean you don't want more, but what does a receiver do? A receiver receives fully what has already been given and is grateful for it. A receiver knows that more good is coming in the next moment. So it's okay to say, thank you for what I have today, even if it disappears tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to bring new good, different good than what you had today. The universe will notice your gratitude and see, now there's a good receiver. And you will be filled with so much grace that you maybe never even dreamed that you had the space for. Go in grace. Thank you very much. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost,
am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my soul to sing, that grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already passed. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far to